Alright, I am very angry. I just recorded this whole entire video and found out it was not recording. So, I'm going to be restarting, and then this is going to be a long video. But first up, I'm very, very annoyed at this because I was about halfway through. There are 23 killers in this game. First up is the Trapper. Very simple. He can place down bear traps. If you step in the bear trap, you have to either try and escape or have someone help you. Because if he goes up to you and if he smacks you, you will go down and they can pick you up straight from the trap. The first two attempts will be very low chance of escaping. Third and fourth are higher, and fifth and sixth are almost guaranteed to escape. That's attempts. So yeah, just watch out for his traps. They can be very light or very dark depending on add-ons. Next up is the Wraith. The Wraith is very simple. He can go invisible with the ding-dong of the bell, and he spawns into the game being invisible. So, and from a certain distance he is invisible, but closer up you can see ripples and hear a snarling sound, which is indicating he's very close. Then obviously the ring-dong, ding-dong of the bell will will notify you that he is uncloaking. And, yeah, that's that. And be careful, he has a very, very fast speed boost when he comes out of cloaking. It's very fast. He will catch up to you very fast. Whew, okay. Next up is the Hillbilly. He is very simple. He has a chainsaw. He'll start to rev it up, and you'll be able to hear it like map-wide, basically, and he'll start to run around with it. During this, he moves super fast, way faster than survivors. And if he hits you, you will go down no matter what, unless you have the enduring status effect. So, if you're full health, you'll go down on the ground, and it'll slap you in the back with a chainsaw. This chainsaw can also immediately destroy breakable walls and pallets. And those killers are all 115 movement speed, which means by base they are 15% faster than you while walking. Next up is, and that keep in mind, because the Nurse, she's a very slow killer. I believe she's only slightly faster than survivors, I think. The Nurse, basically, the reason why she's so slow is because she can teleport. She'll start to charge her arm. If you look at her, she'll raise her left arm up, and she'll hold something, and then she'll teleport forward, and she can go through walls with this stuff. So and then you also hear like a scream when she does it. So she's notifying you that you're blinking, and be careful of this because she can easily get up to you. She is a very hard killer to learn, but she has 2 blinks, so she can blink and then do a shorter blink to catch up to you if she messed up. Next up is the Shape, which is just Michael Myers. So, basically, he has 3 tiers. Tier 1, he's undetectable, so he has no terror radius and no red stain. So, just be careful while working on a generator or something. Look around, because the worst thing you can do is give him a free tier up. For his second tier, he has a small terror radius, and he is just normal base stats, basically. So, he's 115, I believe. Yeah, I believe he's 115, and then stuff like that. He has a normal lunge. Oh yeah, in tier 1, he barely has a lunge. So, he can barely hit you that well. So, and then in tier 2, he's basically a normal, no killer power. So, normal killer with no power. And then, but in tier 3, he will get a much bigger terror radius. And during tier 3, he will hold his right arm up with his knife up in the air. And during this, he has a very long lunge, so be careful of that. He has a very long lunge, and if he hits you, you will go down no matter what. You go from full health, injured. You will go from full health to down or injured to down. And during this time, he can also vault windows much faster. He has a very fast window vault while in tier 3. Next up is the Hag. She places down triangles on the floor, and if you're in the radius of this, it'll trigger, and a Hag will pop up out of it, and she can choose to teleport to that, and she can teleport to survivors when they trip them. And if you're crouching, if you're crouching, the traps will not go off. So if you see a trap, crouch near it, especially if it's baby hags, like the hags you'll face against. If you're hooked, they'll normally place the trap right down. So against a hag, it's the best bet to crouch up to a hook, just so you don't trip the trap. And if you see one on the ground, and if you have a flashlight, shine your flashlight at it, because that will destroy it. Next up is the Doctor. Okay, the Doctor drives survivors insane. because he causes them to scream and expose their current location via electricity. He has a static blast, which you'll start to hear it charge up anywhere on the map, and then he releases it. And if you're in it when that's released, you will scream and tear up. So he'll reveal your location. You reveal your location to him by screaming, and he also has a secondary really a primary static blast where he charges up in his fist and launches it kind of like in a cone in front of him. And it's a short range, but if you get hit by this, you will slowly build up madness and start to tear up madness from 1, 2, and 3. And then during this time, also after he hits you with electricity for about like 3 or 4 seconds. First of all, you scream, but after that, for about 3 or 4 seconds, you cannot vault pallets, you cannot throw down pallets, stuff like that. And then during tier 3, tier 3, you get a terror radius on top of you. So no matter what, you're in a terror radius, and you have a red stain on top of you, and you have to snap out of it. And while you're in tier 3, you can't heal yourself, you can't mend, you can't do gens, stuff like that. So he prevents you from doing stuff, and you have to snap out of it. And also in tier 3, every once in a while, you will scream, revealing your location to him, and I believe that also prevents you from doing actions just like you get hit normally. Okay, next up is the Huntress. She can throw hatchets and injure or down survivors from a long distance. That's simple. She has 5 by default, and She has five by default and has to reload them at lockers. And keep in mind, if you hear a lullaby, that means she is somewhere nearby, because I believe that lullaby is a 48-meter range. So if you hear a lullaby, it's very distinct lullaby. That's how you know she's close. But otherwise she has like a 8-meter terror radius. So if you hear her heartbeat, that means she's super close nearby. And you can also hear her raise and throw hatchets and also put them away. But that takes time to recognize the raising, putting away, throwing hatchet noises. Let's see, who is next? Ooh, the Cannibal, aka Leatherface. He is basically, he has a chainsaw with 3 charges. How these charges work is he'll rev it, and then he starts sweeping his chainsaw. If you're hit with the chainsaw in this time, you will go immediately down. And let's say if there's 3 survivors there, he will down all 3. The thing about Hillbilly is Hillbilly will down you, and he has to go into a cooldown. But with Cannibal here, Leatherface, he can just sweep down all 3 of you and kill all of you. So, I believe it's about 12 or 15 sweeps of the chainsaw if he uses all of his charges. So if he uses all the charges, and if he hits something, he goes into a tantrum where he becomes slower than survivors, and he'll start to randomly throw his chainsaw around before cooling down and being able to be controllable again. Okay, but you don't have to worry about Leatherface that much because he isn't really that popular. Next up is the Nightmare, aka Freddy Krueger. When you're awake, you can see him, stuff like that, and when you are awake, you are facing a killer that has no power. 115, 32-meter terror radius, no power. So that is what you face when you are awake. However, when you are asleep, you will become oblivious, and you cannot tell which direction the terror radius is coming from. So it's very hard to figure out where he's coming from when you're asleep, because you would just hear a lullaby. Also, while you're asleep, you are able to be affected by dream snares or dream pallets. There's an add-on that can switch dream snares to dream pallets. Dream snares, what they do is if you step on them, you can only step on them while you're asleep. You will scream and you will walk very slower for a short time. And dream pallets, they look like normal pallets, but when you throw them down, they will explode into blood and not even stun the killer. So Freddy can lunge straight through them and smack you. And let's see. How to wake up. Okay, yeah. How to wake up. If you are hooked, you will wake up. If you go to a alarm clock, you will wake up. If you use that, you'll wake up. And if you missed a skill check, which is very easy for you, you will wake up. And finally, if there's a survivor that's awake next to you, they can you awake. So they can awake survivors can awake fallen asleep survivors. So I believe that's everything about Freddy. I don't think I'm forgetting anything. Okay, next up is the Pig. The Pig, she has a secondary ability which is called crouching. She can crouch and she'll become slower, but during this time she's undetectable, so she has no terror radius or red stain. So it's very hard to figure out when she's coming, and she's very short when she's crouching. And from that, she can either stand up to smack you, or if you hear growling while she's crouched, she's charging up ambush, which means she'll suddenly stand up and start running at you at a fast speed. And the whole time she's lunging, and as soon as she gets close to you, she'll swing. But after a while, if you evade her for long enough, that she will swing and miss the ambush. And her main power, however, is the reverse bear trap. What these are is, when you're downed on the ground, she can place one of these on your head. When she places it on your head, it is inactive and it doesn't do anything. And basically, you can do everything normally when it's on your head. However, when a generator is done, this reverse bear trap will activate on your head. And what that means is a timer will start and you'll hear it start beeping. Now, as it goes on, the beeping will start getting more frequent, notifying you, hey, your time limit's almost up. Because if that time limit hits 0 and the timer ends, and you'll be able to see on your character how the clock is ticking. And once that timer ends, your head splits open and you die immediately. But however, when you are being chased by the pig, that timer stops. So luckily there. And the way to get it off your head is you have to go to reverse bear. You have to go to jigsaw boxes around the map, and you have to search in them for a key. And you'll know where these are because when she puts the reverse bear trap on your head, all of them are revealed in a white aura. However, if the reverse bear trap is active and you try and leave through the exit gate, you will die immediately. If you have a beeping reverse bear trap and you try and escape through the exit gate, you will die. You will immediately die no matter the timer if you try and escape through the exit gate when you have one active. So be very careful of that. However, if you escape through the hatch with one beeping, that's fine. You'll live through the hatch. So just be very careful about leaving with an active reverse bear trap. Okay, that should be everything about Pig. Next up is the Clown. How he works is he has 2 different types of bottles. One of them is a purple gas. This purple gas, when you walk into it, you will become slowed down and scream. He is not affected by this purple gas, so he does not get slowed down. So the bottle will be thrown, and as soon as it hits something, it'll explode. The purple gas will then start to expand immediately. His next bottle, however, he'll throw it, and once it hits the ground, it'll be a white gas that does nothing, but after like 3 seconds, it then turns into a yellow gas. That yellow gas is good gas. Go into that gas, because that yellow gas gives you the invigorated status effect, which means you move faster for a short time. There is a catch to this, however. There is an add-on that switches the color of these 2 bottles, which means the purple gas becomes a yellow color and the yellow gas becomes a purple color. So if you, basically an easy way to remember is, if he throws a bottle and it immediately explodes into a color, that is the bad gas. However, if he throws a bottle and it becomes white gas, then turns to a different color, that is the good gas. And if you're invigorated from the yellow gas and run into purple gas, they cancel each other out. Okay, next up is the Spirit. The Spirit is, oh my god, they got super complicated with these killers. What queeb? Okay. Next up is the Spirit. If you hear a whooshing sound, which will sound like the wind, that means she is phasing. What this phasing is as the Spirit, you can hold down the power button, and you will stand still, and then you can start phasing. While she's phasing, she can see your scratch marks, but she cannot see you. So she can see what you left behind while running, and she can also hear you. So just keep that in mind. She can hear you, but not see you, and can track you. And next up, however, with the Spirit, if you do not hear a terror radius, you will hear a loud whooshing. If you hear a faint heartbeat, you will hear a faint whooshing sound. However, if you hear loud heartbeat, there will be no whooshing sound. And if you're in a chase with her, there's no whooshing sound. And it is very hard to tell when she is phasing, because when she's phasing, she stands still. You may think, oh, then easily, if she stands still, then I can run to her and juke her and stuff. However, she can fake and just stand still and not move, and that can trick you. So the best way to do is, if you think she's phasing, is to just walk. Not sprint, just walk, because then it's very hard for her to track you unless you're injured. Whew, okay. Next up is the Legion. Very simple. If you see him start to run at you suddenly and hold his knife in the air, then when they hit you, you will go into the deep wound effect no matter what. Well, what this means is you have to mend, so you have to sit in place and mend, otherwise you will go to the dying state. And after they hit you, they will know where everyone is in their terror radius. So if you hear a heartbeat while that Legion is in frenzy and you see someone else get hit, then they will be coming for you because they can track you. While the Legion is in frenzy, they move much faster than they do while walking, and they can also vault windows much faster and vault pallets. And after the frenzy is over, via time limit or cancel, or being stunned by a pallet while in frenzy, they get a 4-second stun where they can't do anything except walk slowly, where they like hold their hands in front of their face. Whew, okay. Next up is the Plague, aka the Plague. What she does is she just throws up on you. This green vomit, this is very specific, so keep this in mind. She's a very strong killer. This green vomit, what that does is, when she throws up on you, over time you will build up a sickness meter, and even if she hits you once while you're running, that sickness meter will build up. So eventually, you'll be able to tell because your character will start coughing a lot loudly, and they'll start to throw up. What this means is you've reached max infection, which is now you're permanently broken, which means you cannot be healed, and anything you start working on will then be coated in her vomit. So let's say if you start working on a generator and you throw up on it, that means that is now infected. So if someone who's not infected touches that gen, they will start coughing until they become fully infected. And when you're fully infected, the way to become uninfected and heal yourself is to go to one of the white ores you see around the map. And what those are is you'll go there and then you cleanse, and then you're full health and no longer infected. However, when you cleanse in that fountain, that leaves what is called Corrupt Purge. That Corrupt Purge, she can go and cleanse it, and then her green vomit turns into red vomit, and that red vomit, that is very dangerous because when it's a projectile, and if you're hit by it, you will take a health state. So she can easily hit you from afar and over loops, over walls, stuff like that. So she's very powerful then. You'll know because you'll hear ding when she claims her power. And if you look at her, she'll have red particle effects coming off of her if she has that power. That's very dangerous because she can easily attack you from afar. Okay. Next up is the Ghostface. What he does is he is another stalking killer. He's the second stalking killer to be added to this game. And what he can do is where's my note paper? I have the note paper of this, but his power allows him to go undetectable. So when he's undetectable, he has no terror radius and no red stain. And the only way he can get out of this is being snapped out by a survivor looking at him. So if the survivor looks at him, he'll be snapped out. If he misses an attack, he'll be snapped out. And if he's stunned, I believe if he misses an attack, he gets snapped out. And if he hits someone, he gets snapped out. But while he is in his Night Shroud ability, he can stalk you. If he's standing still and slowly moving, he is stalking you and building up a stalk meter. Each person has an individual stalk meter. But however, if you see his head leaning from cover, you will be stalked at a 2 times faster rate. So you will be stalked very fast. And once your stalking meter hits full, you will become exposed for 45 seconds. It's either 40 or 45. I don't have my note paper that says it all with me. But you will become exposed from that time, and that means you can go down in one hit. So just like that, you can go down. However, if you cannot tell how much you've been stalked, only he can. So let's say if a ghost-faced, and keep in mind this is something that's important. If you get hit or if you get hooked, you will lose any stalk progression. So let's say if we're playing a custom game, and I stalk you to 50%, so you would be 50% stalked. And I hit you, you then go to 0% stalk progression. So, and Ghostface, they can easily keep you 99. So you can be 99 on a stalk meter and not even know it. So, that's his power. Yeah, he's very powerful. He is a very powerful killer. Next up is the Demogorgon. He is this you don't see many Demogorgons, but he's very special. He can place down portals. When he places them down, they are invisible. But once he uses them, survivors can see them and destroy them. What these portals are is, with these portals, he can go from one portal to another while standing on them. And when he does this, you'll hear a loud roar, and he'll traverse the Upside Down, which is part of the lore. The Demogorgon's a licensed killer, but he traverses the Upside Down, and he can appear at any portal. And when he pops out of that portal, he is undetectable for 4 seconds, which means you will not know if he's coming. You will have no idea if he is coming, if he decides to go through a portal. So that's his main ability there, and so just be careful if you see a portal. Yeah, watch out for that. And another thing, if you stand on a portal and he charges of the abyss, he gets killer instinct, which means he knows that you're on that portal, standing on it, or even working to destroy it. When you see a portal, after some time, you can destroy them, but he knows when you destroy them, because once you destroy them, he knows, and he can come over there. But it is important to destroy them, because those portals are powerful if used correctly. And also, what of the abyss is you'll see him do it. He'll stretch his hands out, and his mouth will open, showing his many teeth. And during this, he can obviously detect you with killer instinct, but he also gets a secondary power, which is shred. When he does this, he will, and when he, if he wants to, he can charge out of the abyss, and you'll see it, because his mouth will open and his claws will extend, and he can decide to jump at you and lunge at you very far and attack you. And it is terrifying. And during this lunge, he can destroy breakable walls, pallets, stuff like that, and it'll deal 1 health state. So, yeah, the shred is terrifying. Next up is the Oni. What, Queeb? Yeah, I'm trying to do something here. Okay. The Oni, okay. So, he has a power called Blood Fury. What this is when he hits you, the worst thing you can do against an Oni is give him a very, very early hit. Because when he hits you, he will collect your blood, and that blood will fill up 45, I believe it's like 45% of his power gauge. And while you're injured, you will leave 2 blood orbs behind you when you are casually running around, standing still, healing, doing any action. You will leave blood orbs behind you. When he hits you while you're injured, he does not get any blood orbs. He just cleans off his weapon. When you're hooked, you leave 3 blood orbs. But what these blood orbs are is that his power. He'll collect them, and when his power gauge hits full, you'll know, because you'll hear a noise, and then that's when he can activate his major power. When he decides to activate it, you'll hear a loud roar. It's globally across the map. You can hear that roar. And if you're injured while he activates his power, you will not leave any blood orbs behind. But all the blood orbs on the map stay there unless collected by the Oni. And while he's in this form, you'll see him. He'll be like glowing red, and he'll pull out this big stick, this giant stick. And what this is he can choose to do Demon Dash, which is where he goes super fast, and you'll hear him busy. He'll stomp very loudly, and he'll run at you very fast. And while in this dash, he can choose to slam his stick down, and what that does is he'll slam it bonk, bonk, bonk on the ground. And what this does is you go down no matter what with this. So this is another insta-down thing. So you will go down immediately with this. And then, yeah. So when he's dashing, he moves very fast, and he can easily flick and down into the left, right, middle. He can also, while not running, he can easily charge it up and slam it on the ground to immediately insta-down you there. And he can still basic attack you and just injure you, stuff like that. And if you stun Oni while he's in this Blood Fury, he doesn't get knocked out of it. The only way he gets out of Blood Fury is if the timer runs out, or if he picks up a survivor. And once Blood Fury is over, he will his power gauge goes down. If it ends via time limit, it'll go back down to 0. But if he picks someone up, it can be any time, and then you'll start to leave blood orbs again, and he can collect them and turn on his power again. Next up is the Deathslinger. This guy, he has a gun. The Deathslinger has a gun. He's from whenever cowboys were in his lore. And how his gun works is it is a single round gun, so it needs a single bullet before it fires. So he'll load it in and fires. Yeah. So if you notice, he'll aim down sights. He has to aim down sights before he can use the gun. So he'll start aiming down sights, and you can see this. And when he fires the gun, it shoots a spike out, and I believe that spike has a range of 18 meters. I believe it's either 15 or 18. It is 18 meters. It is 18 meters, and this spike, if it hits you, he can start to reel you into him. You'll see this. It is terrifying. So just be very careful of that because yeah. So if you vault, he can shoot you through a vault, pull you to the vault, and hit you over the window. He can also shoot through walls. Basically, like if there's a crack in the wall, he can shoot you, and he can start reeling you in and hit you. If the chain breaks, when he shoots you, like and the chain will break. The chain will go through walls while he's reeling you in, and you can tell if it's going through a wall when it has an orange glow. And when that glow is orange, the chain is breaking faster. If the chain breaks, you will always go into the deep wound status effect, which means you will have to mend, otherwise you will go down. So the chain will break. You will always go into the deep wound status effect, no matter what. If the chain breaks, and he will get a 4 seconds stun, where he can't do anything except slowly walk forward, just like Legion. However, this is where he gets different from Legion. With his gun, is if he reels you in and you're full health and hits you, you will go to the deep wound status effect. If you're injured, he'll reel you in and then down you with the gun. So his gun, he is a very powerful killer. So be careful with vault with him, stuff like that. So yeah, just be very careful in general with him. You'll see him start to ADS, and when he aims, he can only shoot when he aims. So basically, watch out for his gun. Okay. Next up is the Executioner, aka Pyramid Head. He has basically a giant pyramid for his head. Oh my god. How many killers do I have left after this? Oh, you got still 3 killers. Holy crap. Okay. Executioner. With his giant knife he'll stab it into the ground and start to draw trenches. These trenches, they'll like red trenches on the ground with spikes coming out of them. If you step on them, you will become tormented. What this torment is while you're tormented, you leave a small trail behind you. Like you'll run around and it'll be a tiny trail. It doesn't leave on the ground. It's just, a little indicator trail of barbed wire at your feet. Yeah, whatever. So, there's no way to give someone else torment if you're tormented. However, how torment works is when you go down, when you're downed, he can choose to do something. While you're only while you're tormented can he do this. When you're tormented, he can stab you while you're on the ground and then send you to a cage of atonement. This cage of atonement is equal to hooks. So this cage will send you across the map from him and in a cage. For the first stage of the cage, you just sit there doing nothing. But if you hit midway, like you're on a hook, like it's equivalent to a hook. So if you get hooked once, and then you get saved, and then you get put into a cage, you'll be put into the stage 2 of the cage. So these hook stages and cage stages are equal, no matter what. So for the second stage, it's just like normal struggling. You have to hit skill checks to survive. If you miss the skill check, it progresses the killing bar. So someone has to then come and save you. However, when you are dead on hook, which means when you get hooked you'll die, which is your third hook, or your third cage, he gets a different option while you're tormented. He can choose to, while you're on the ground, quickly take his knife, stab you on your arm, pull it back, and kill you just like that. Very quick. It's called Final Judgment. However, tormented, how it works is once you get uncaged, your torment is gone. If you get unhooked, which means he throws you on a hook and then you get unhooked, you still have torment. The only way to get torment is to be saved from a cage or save someone else from a cage while you're tormented. So the only way to become untormented is via the cages. Okay, but he still has the secondary power, which is while he's digging his knife into the ground, he can choose to then do a long-range attack, which is what it is you'll see a pattern appear on the floor next to you, which means if you're standing in it, careful, because a wave of spikes will then come through the ground and then hit you. These waves can travel downstairs and stuff like that, so just be very, very, very careful of that. because that is his long-range attack. It can go through walls, stuff like that. Next up is the Blight. He's basically a ping-pong ball machine. What he does is he has 5 charges. He has 5 bounces that he can do. His first bounce, he'll charge at you at a fast rate. He can't do anything during this. Once he hits a wall, however, he gets the next option. After he hits a wall, he can look around and choose to bounce again. And then, however, during this bounce, which is called rushes, if he's next to you, he can then swing and hit you. And he has 4 opportunities to do lethal rushes, which is where he'll hold up his weapon high when he does a lethal rush, and he'll swing it at you. If he misses, he goes into a cooldown, blah, blah, blah. But what he cannot do is he cannot rush, hit a wall, rush again, hit a wall, cancel, then immediately go back into rushing. He can only start rushing once he has 5 rush tokens. So he's basically a ping pong ball machine. He can move very fast. Just watch out for him. You'll know when he starts rushing. He also make a noise. He's a very top tier killer, so he's very powerful. So that's kind of hard to explain, but if you want me to, I can show you all these killers in custom games, because I have every single one of them except this next killer, which is called the Twins. This is the only killer I don't have, so I can show you any of these killers. I just cannot show you this one that I'm about to talk about, which is the Twins. I do not have them, so just reminding you, I can show you all the other ones in a custom game, but I don't have the Twins, so I can't show you them. What they do is they are 2 people. It is Victor and Charlotte. Victor is literally 1-year-old. He is a baby. He is a child. You'll know there'll be like a slight ding when they come out. It's very hard to describe, but when Charlotte releases Victor, Victor will crawl out of her like stomach, whatever, and he'll start to crawl around on the floor basically. During this time, he'll make a noise. He has no terror radius, but he'll make a noise when he gets closer to you. It's kind of like grunting. During this time, if he can pounce on you, and this pounce can go through windows, so he'll charge up a pounce, launch at you. If you're full health and he hits you, he will cling onto you and injure you. During this time, you cannot open exit gates, you cannot escape through the exit gate, you can't do gens, you can't unhook, you can't heal, stuff like that. Then, while he's on your back, you have to do an action called Crush, which is you grabbing onto your back, and eventually you grab onto Victor. You stop, you grab onto Victor, throw him to the ground, and Victor dies. And after like 5 seconds, Victor comes back to Charlotte, and then Victor can release again. However, the big thing is, if you are injured and Victor pounces on you, he will down you, and then he can run off, scamper else, and then clamp onto someone else. So if you're injured and Victor hits you, you will go down. So, big thing about Victor, though, is obviously only one of them can be controlled. If Victor is just standing still and not being controlled, he will act as a radar. So, if you walk or run near Victor, while Charlotte is active, Charlotte is the big killer. If that happens, then Victor will let Charlotte know that someone is near. However, if Victor is standing still, not being controlled, you can kick him and crush him and kill him. If Victor misses an attack, he will go into a cooldown. During that time, you can kick and crush him there. And after he downs someone, you can kick and crush him there. So that's basically how it works. Charlotte, she has no special power. It's just Victor. Yeah, you just watch out for Victor. If it's Charlotte, Charlotte is just basic killer with M1ing. So yeah. Who do we have next? The Trickster. Oh, I'm done. I'm not telling you about Trickster unless we play a custom game, because he's very interesting. Just you don't see him at all, so I don't really even need to explain him. Because let's see, I've played multiple games ever since it came out, and I've only faced him like once. So, and that was like on release day or whatever. So yeah, you don't see much Trickster, but if you want to know what he does, then we gotta play a custom game, and I gotta face you, because I want to surprise you. So yeah, and that's it for all the killers. So that took a while. Oh my god, that took 34 minutes and 30 seconds. Holy crap, I am thirsty!